What Twitter really has in store for crypto. According to the creators of Twitter Crypto, NFT profile pictures and crypto tipping are just the beginning. You may have heard of cryptocurrency. Twitter, where accounts have bored apes as profile pictures, posts are rife with talk of tokens, blockchains, and buying the Bitcoin dip, and Elon Musk is revered. However, you may have heard of Twitter Crypto, the business unit devoted to developing the social network strategy for cryptocurrency, blockchains, and the smorgasbord of decentralized technologies known as Web3. Tess Rynearson, a Berlin-based American computer scientist whose career includes stints at blockchain companies such as Tendermint and Interchain, revealed the team in November 2021 via a tweet from the newly hired project lead. Rynearson joined Twitter at a critical juncture. Jack Dorsey, the company's outspoken pro-Bitcoin CEO, would depart a few weeks later, to be replaced by CTO Parag Agrawal. Agrawal was a key player in Blue Sky, a Twitter-backed project to develop a protocol, possibly with blockchain components, for building decentralized social networks. As cryptocurrency became more popular around the world and crypto Twitter grew in popularity, the company attempted to dominate the space. Under the direction of product manager Esther Crawford, Twitter introduced a tipping feature in September 2021 that allows creators on Twitter to receive Bitcoin contributions via Lightning, a network for fast Bitcoin payments. Through a partnership with NFT marketplace OpenSea, Twitter Blue subscribers were able to display their NFTs as hexagonal profile pictures in January. Twitter Crypto is still in its early stages. While Rynearson works with people from all over the company, her team is still under 10 people, though more hires are on the way, based on recent job postings. So it's worth wondering what comes next. I spoke with Rynearson and Crawford via video call about the future of Twitter Crypto. The dialogue has been edited for clarity and brevity. Let's start with the fundamentals. What is the purpose of Twitter's crypto unit? Tess Rynearson, we really see crypto, and what we're now calling Web3, as this incredibly powerful tool that could unlock a lot of opportunities for our users. The entire crypto world is analogous to an internet of money, an internet of value, into which our users can potentially tap to create new ways of owning their content, monetizing their content, owning their own identity, and even relating to one another. One of my goals is to build Twitter's crypto unit so that it caters to communities other than the core crypto community. I obviously enjoy the crypto Twitter space. I'm a very proud member of the crypto community. At the same time, I recognize that people who are deeply involved in the crypto space may not relate to concepts such as blockchain's immutability in the same way that someone who is less deeply involved might. So much of what we try to think about is, what can we learn from this group of people who are super engaged and super creative? Then, how can we translate some of that information into a format, mechanism, or product that is more accessible to people who do not have that background? What are you taking away from crypto Twitter? Do you just follow a lot of accounts or do you interact with them? What happens as a result of that learning experience? Crawford, Esther, it's a combination of factors. We have a fantastic research team that organizes panel interviews and surveys. However, we are also embedded in the community and follow a variety of accounts, participate in Twitter Spaces, attend conferences and events, and interact with customers in this manner. That is how the research portion of it works. But we also see it as end users. Twitter is now the go-to platform for all things crypto. One of the things that distinguishes Twitter is that we build in the open. As a result, this means having real-time conversations with customers. Designers will take something in its early stages and post it as a tweet, receiving real-time feedback. They'll go into rooms with product managers and engineering managers, talk about it with real customers in real time, and then incorporate that feedback into the designs and what we eventually launch. Rynearson: one of the things I wanted to ensure before joining Twitter was that we would be able to build features in the open, solicit feedback, and show rough drafts. So I asked Parag Agrawal, who is now the CEO and was the person who hired me, about it. I mentioned this early in the job interview process, and he said, "If you think it's important to the success of this work, great, do it, thumbs up." He, too, exhibits this openness. Tess, as you mentioned, you're from the crypto world. What did you think Twitter was getting right when you were out there? What did you believe Twitter was doing incorrectly? Rynearson: for a long time, I had been a Twitter power user. I noticed a lot of aesthetic alignment between how Twitter exists in the world and how crypto exists in the world. Twitter's DNA is built on decentralized user experiences. And, while it may sound cheesy, people use Twitter in ways similar to how a public blockchain is used, as a public database where everything is time-stamped and everyone can agree on what happened. And, for the most part, it is open and available for public discussion. And, of course, it was also a location where the crypto community truly found its footing. I believe it has been a site of tremendous discovery, as well as education and learning for the entire community. I joined when there were rumblings about Twitter starting to do crypto stuff, mostly stuff Esther had led, and I was excited to see where it went. Then there was Twitter's investment in Bluesky, which gave me even more confidence. Let's talk about the two main features you've delivered thus far, the crypto tipping feature and NFT images. Can you give me a brief history of how and why each came to be? Crawford: those are our initial explorations, and we started there because we wanted to make sure that what we built benefited creators, their audiences, and then all of the Twitter conversations. We know that creators, in particular, rely on platforms like Twitter to monetize and earn a living, and that not everyone has access to traditional currencies. Not everyone has a traditional bank account. As a result, we wanted to provide an opportunity for a borderless payment solution, which is why we chose Bitcoin Lightning as our first major integration. One of the reasons we chose Bitcoin Lightning was the low transaction fees. We also have Bitcoin and Ethereum addresses that you can use on your Twitter tipping jar. We discovered that people were including information about their cryptocurrency wallet addresses in their profiles. As a result, we wanted to create a more seamless experience in which people could simply tip through the platform, making it feel more natural. Again, looking at user behavior led to the creation of NFT profile pictures. People were adding NFTs that they owned as avatars, but you couldn't tell if they actually owned those NFTs. So we decided to build that feature so that one could actually prove ownership. Isn't that similar to how other things developed on Twitter? The hashtag, and even the retweet, were initially just things that users invented, by adding the hash sign or pasting other users' tweets, before Twitter made it a feature. Crawford: that's right. Many of the best ideas come from observing user behavior on the platform, which we then productize. Rynearson: I've heard it referred to as help wanted signs, and I've been keeping an eye out for them across the platform. The NFT profile image was a prime example of this. How do these two features, as well as possibly other crypto features coming in the future, help Twitter's bottom line? Crawford: our goal with creator monetization was to help creators get paid, not Twitter. However, Twitter takes a very small cut of earnings. We take a larger percentage from more successful creators. This, in our opinion, is part of our revenue diversification strategy. Twitter is now solely an ad-supported business. We envision Twitter making money from a variety of different product areas in the future. So Twitter Blue is one of those products. For $2.99 a month, you get extra features like NFT profile pictures. We believe that revenue diversification occurs in a variety of areas, and that creator monetization is only a small part of that. As you stated, these are preliminary experiments. What is the future of Twitter crypto? What is your vision for the role of crypto technology within Twitter? Rynearson, the real trick here is to find the right parts of Twitter to decentralize, rather than attempting to decentralize everything all at once, or, making every user suddenly responsible for managing some private keys or something like that. We need to figure out how to give people access to a decentralized economic layer or give them ways to take their identity with them without relying on a single centralized service. We're still in the early stages of these explorations, and even features like Bitcoin tipping or NFT profile pictures, we see those as experiments in and of themselves, as learning experiences. We're learning about how our users relate to these concepts, what they understand, what they find confusing, and what they find most useful. We really want to try to use this technology to bring utility to people, rather than just sprinkling a little blockchain on top of it for the sake of it. So creator monetization is an area that I'm very interested in because I believe there's a very clear path forwards. But, once again, we're looking beyond that. We're considering using crypto technology in fields such as digital identity and digital ownership, as well as determining how we can better serve crypto communities on the platform. So you're going to put the blue ticks of Twitter verified users on a blockchain? Laughter. No. Another round of laughter. Okay, let's move on. What role does your work play in Bluesky's plan to develop a protocol for a decentralized social media platform? Is there any kind of synergy there? Rynearson, I've known Bluesky's leader, Jay Graber, for a long time, and she and I are very close. We check in on a regular basis and talk a lot about any problems we might have in common that we'll both have to solve. There is some overlap when it comes to identity, but at the end of the day, it is a separate project. She's very focused on hiring her team, and they're very focused on developing a protocol prototype. That is not what Esther and I are thinking, which is, there are all these blockchain protocols out there, and we need to figure out how to make them useful and accessible to real people. And when I say real people, I'm joking, in contrast to hardcore crypto nerds like myself. Jay is thinking a lot about building for people who want to build decentralized networks. That is a very different area of focus. Aside from that, I'd say it's too early to tell what Bluesky will mean for Twitter as a product. We're in touch, and our values are similar. But, at the end of the day, separate teams are required. Why is a centralized Silicon Valley company like Twitter an appropriate place to begin bringing more decentralization to internet users? Don't we just have to start from scratch, creating a new decentralized platform? Rynearson, I started in crypto in 2015, and I have vivid memories of some of my co-workers, crypto engineers, trying to figure out how to secure some of their Bitcoin before one of the Bitcoin forks when the Bitcoin blockchain split, creating new currencies, and they were panicking and freaking out. I thought there was no way a normal person could handle this in a safe manner. As a result, I was somewhat disillusioned with cryptocurrency, particularly from a consumer standpoint. Then, last year, I began to notice increased interest from people I'd known for a long time but who weren't crypto enthusiasts. They were just beginning to perk up, take notice, and start creating NFTs or talking about DAOs. And I thought that was interesting, that we were approaching a tipping point, and that it might be time to start thinking about what this could mean for people outside of the hardcore crypto group. That's when Twitter contacted me. I don't believe that any centralized platform will be able to bring crypto to the masses, so to speak. However, I believe Twitter has the right stuff. I believe that when it comes to new technologies, you must meet people where they are, find ways to onboard them, bring them along, and show them what this might mean for them. Make things available. And that is extremely difficult to achieve with only a protocol. You must have some kind of community, some kind of user base, and some kind of platform. And Twitter is right there with you. I'm not convinced that a centralized platform is the best way to bring crypto to the masses. Twitter, in my opinion, is the way to go. But why do the masses require cryptocurrency right now? Rynearson, I'm not sure anyone needs crypto, and our goal isn't to get everyone involved in crypto. Let's be crystal clear about this. However, I believe that cryptocurrency has the potential to be a very powerful tool for people. So, I believe what we're attempting to do is show people how powerful it is and to open up those possibilities. It's also possible that we'll create some products and features where people have no idea what's going on under the hood. For example, if we're using crypto as a payment rail or as an identity layer, users don't need to be aware of all of the implementation details. And it's something we talk about a lot with users. What level of abstraction are we talking about? What story are we telling them about what's going on behind the scenes? But, again, I'd like to emphasize that the goal is not to simply throw everyone into crypto. We want to add value to people's lives. Do you believe there is a case to be made for Twitter to launch its own cryptocurrency, dubbed Twittercoin? Rynearson, I believe there is a case for many things. Honestly, there is a case for many things. We're attempting to think very broadly about it. Crawford, we're looking into a variety of options. It is not something we would make an announcement about. Rynearson, I believe it is critical to emphasize that when you say Twittercoin, you probably have a slightly different idea of what it is than we do. And are we looking into those possibilities? Yes, we want to consider all of them. Do we have any plans for them? No. But are we attempting to think about things in a very creative and open-minded manner? Yes. We have this new economic technology that we believe has the potential to unlock many doors for people. And we want to go down as many rabbit holes as possible to see what we come up with.